Hi everybody, welcome to a rather dreary Xbox experimental server, but what I thought I'd do is we'd take a quick look at the new control scheme for DayZ that's coming when 117 goes public in a couple of weeks' time. How to change between the kind of the default and the new control scheme. And some of the features. So what you do is, if you want to change, you just press the normal sort of options screen to get into here, and then you just go to controls, and then if you look in the bottom left hand corner, you'll see it will say press Y. On PlayStation, I guess that would be triangle, and you can swap between the two control schemes. Now with the default control scheme, this has changed a little bit as well, mainly to do with doing your strong attacks. So let me just slowly come out of here. So if I put my gun away, so you used to have to press and hold Y, didn't you, or press and hold triangle on PlayStation to do a strong attack, but now it's just triggered to do a normal sort of punch, a normal melee attack, and then if you tap Y or triangle on PlayStation, that's your heavy attack. You used to have to kind of charge it up, didn't you, and then release it at the right time. But now it's just press the Y button on Xbox or triangle. So that's very, very good. And then so if we go back, and I think most of the other stuff is similar. I think a bigger thing is probably the way that we accelerate and brake now. It is now linear, I think. It's not just on or off, there's stages in between, which is pretty cool. But let's have a look at the different control schemes. So if we press Y on Xbox, so it'll be triangle on PlayStation, we can see some of the differences. So if you look on the left hand side, you've now got toggle to sprint, and also if you look on the right hand side, we've now got it changes the way you throw things. So to throw things, you now, if you want to use the new control scheme, you press LB, which is the top left shoulder button, and you press X, and then you go into a throwing stance. As with the old way, you would double tap X. So kind of, let me come out of this. Let me show you. So if I put something in my hands, like I don't know, what have we got? This glow stick. There we go. So I'm in the normal control scheme. So if I want to throw it, I double tap X and I go into the throwing stance, and I would press the right trigger and hold it and then release it, and then I would throw. However, if I sort of cancel that, come on, that's it. If I go to the new control scheme by pressing Y, you'll notice that it's LB and X that go into the throwing stance. So I get LB, X, or I guess that would be square on Xbox. Now I'm in the throwing stance, and it's still press and hold the right trigger and then release it when you want to throw it. There we go, and then we've thrown a glow stick. So let's go back and look at controls again. So it's a bit odd. They may have a little bit of work to do actually with these menus, especially because when you look at things are kind of similar. So when you're in the combat stance, and when you've got your left trigger pulled, so you're aiming down sights, or you've got your fists up, or you're holding onto your melee weapon ready to fire it, things are pretty similar. So if you look on the right hand side, we've got differences between, you've now got Y for reload and Y for special attack instead of X, but X is still the firearm attack. So if, for example, I get my gun out, and then I'm aiming down sights, and then I press X, or it would be square on PlayStation, I still do that melee move to push zombies off when you're aiming. What is a bit odd is that the vertical axis reverses, so that they might need to work on that. In fact, let's have a look in the options for controls. Yeah, that could well be a problem with that one. So let me go into controls. Let's go to default menu. So if we aim down sight, yeah, there's a bug there. So when I aim down, so when I look up normally, I pull back, I've got inverted, but when I aim down sight, it's not inverted anymore. So there is a little bit of a bug, and we can't change that, can we? Controls, invert camera enabled. Yeah, you can't. Oh, right, they're going to have to sort that out, aren't they? So what else have we got? Inventory, you can. There's a little bit of a difference, but I didn't really notice much in terms of actually using it. I guess the way that you do the quick slot has changed a little bit. So with the default one, you press and hold left stick, don't you? Where they've changed it to you use the right button with the new control scheme. Vehicles basically the same, and menus is basically the same. So the biggest change for me between the new and the new default thing is really about throwing things, and when you're in the combat stance, there isn't really that much of a change. Now, obviously, when you go into the options, what there are now is there's lots more options in terms of sensitivity, which is good. It's always good to be able to fine tune things. I'm not that particularly bothered by it because I'm not a big PvPer in DayZ. I tend to play it mostly for PvE and adventure. But it's really good to see these new settings come in to give us a few more options in terms of what we can be doing. And I'm looking forward to seeing what else Bohemia Interactive come up with the way that they improve DayZ for console over the next few months. Anyway, that's enough from me. What do you think? Put your questions and comments down below, and I will, of course, see you again soon.